MVP, the Mo Vaughn podcast, powered by Vaughn Sports Academy and Perfect Game. I'm Will Burge. As always, the man himself, Mo Vaughn, is here. And Mo, we got a special guest this week because it's opening day. Happy opening day to you, and happy opening day to our guest, Coach Nelly, FTB Nelly, PG Nelly. However, I don't know what you're going by these days. You're like the artist formerly known as Prince.
World renowned, bro. World renowned. What's up, bro? How you doing?
Good, brother. Good. Always great to have a conversation with my boys, man. You know, I'm a big fan of you, Mo, and Will, you're always great at what you do, brother.
Man, Nelly, man, when I got into this thing I got with PG, I came to see you down in the Design District. Remember that? And I was on your podcast. That was a great event. That was a great place. We went to that place, had the big TV, and we were sitting there.
Yeah, Canopy.
Yeah, Canopy. And I'm sitting there like, man, what is this all about? Like, and I'm like, wow, Nelly's really got this stuff going on. And now you're on my show and Will's show together. What a transformation. This is great.
This is great, man. I love it, and I'm excited to be here, dude. I mean, you've blown up. You've always been big in baseball, but now you're back, giving back to the kids and the youth. I mean, I'm loving it. You've changed the game. Now you got the podcast. I mean, you're a voice that kids and parents need to hear.
It's nice, man. You know, we always would, we were sitting down there and we talked a lot about parenting and we talked a lot about the kids. I love coaching, because of my son and other things. I had no idea I was going to have this type of, be put on this platform or, be in this situation. But I understand exactly where you are now, the effect of good, positive, young guys that are doing something good, what we can do, for young people is great. So I'm just kind of following your footsteps, man. It's great to have you on.
I appreciate you guys having me.
All right, so let's start with opening day. We'll get into some of the young guys, and Nelly, I want to get your thoughts on four guys specifically that could be with the opening day roster or might be called up right after. But opening day first, Mo, do you got a memory that jumps out at you? Opening day, maybe when you played, maybe when you were a kid, something that comes to mind when this day rolls around.
Well, listen, everybody. Like, I was lucky enough to have some years. I was on the team, got on the team after a couple of years in. I'm talking 95, 96, 97. And, that coming out of spring training, it really means nothing. Number one, like you might have a great spring training, but now, we're playing in Boston, AL East. It's cold and you're basically starting over. So the tension around opening day, you're hyped, but it's like, man, I got to get on track, So I think for me, my best opening day was in 98. I wasn't able to sign a contract that off season. I'm going into my free agent season and we're starting off with the Mariners. So now I'm not happy because I know I'm facing Randy Johnson, the first 3 or 4 at bats. I was 0 for 3 with probably 2 strikeouts. We were down 6-2, or 6-1 or something. We wound up scoring 7 runs or 6 or 7 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning with a home run. It was the bottom of the 9th, and I hit a grand slam to win the game against Seattle, and that's how I started off my 98 season. Being a free agent, I was like, man, this is a great open. And I wound up having a pretty good year, so I was lucky.
Nelly, I don't know if you can top that opening day story because that's insane, but you got an opening day memory for yourself, whether it was you playing younger or just going as a fan?
Man, one of my best memories was going when I was a fan. I seen Gary Sheffield for the first time going, and I met him when I was a little kid. I mean, he's probably going to think I'm messed up showing how old he is, but I was probably like 11 and 12 years old. And I went to the field. He came, signed me an autograph, and he told me he was going to hit a home run first at bat. He hit a home run at the field. I mean, that was a line drive. He smoked this kid in the face when he tried to catch it. It was one of my best memories I'll never forget because he kept his word with me. And now I know him personally, so it's pretty intense. And that was one of my favorite moments.
Mine's obviously completely different from a fan perspective, but back in 2007, the Indians had a home opener and they're playing the Mariners, and it was a snow game. It started snowing, and the Indians were up, and last minute Hargrove, who they used to call him the human rain delay, came out and pitched. I mean, he pitched a bitch on the mound because he said it was snowing too hard, and he got the game stopped, and it didn't count. And the Indians did not get that win that day. And I'll never forget because I was sitting in the snow trying to get that dub with the team, and I had to sit through all that. And then he got the game taken away anyway.
Wow, that sucks.
Oh, gotta love opening day in the Midwest and Northeast. Gotta love it.
Absolutely.
All right. So some guys who are definitely looking forward to opening day, though. Looking forward to that call up. I want to go through 4 names of Mo. Before we jump into those, Mo, what's the story behind it when you got called up? Do you what was the situation? How were you told? Was it opening day roster? What was your first game up in the major?
I was in Scranton in AAA, and I got called up from AAA, which is Scranton, Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Butch Hobson was my manager. He called me into his hotel that morning. So I'm jacked now. I'm like crazy. You got to remember, I got family I'm from New England, Connecticut. I've been going to Boston, Cape Cod my entire life. Got family in Boston, and I'm opening up against the Yankees. So, I'm from Southern New England, which is can be called Yankee territory. Don Mattingly was playing for the Yankees. I loved him. So I was opening up against him. So I go to the airport, and I gotta get on this plane to get to Boston, and it's a prop plane with only like 6 seats. Now I'm 6'1", 240 pounds. I'm sitting on both seats of the aisle. The plane is a prop plane. You guys know. Listen, I'll fly when I have to fly, but if I could take a car or a subway or an underground tunnel or anything, beam me up, Scotty, to get somewhere, I would do it rather than jumping in a plane. I'm sitting there riding on the plane, the wind shears and this, and I'm going to die before I even get to the stadium at Fenway Park to play this game against the New York Yankees and Don Mattingly. I got my whole family. I'm not even going to make it. And then when I got off the plane, I was riding in a cab, and I don't know what was happening, but we kept circling like Fenway Park. We couldn't get into, and I'm sitting there going, I'm getting called up. I was supposed to play. I'm going to be on the field tonight against the Yankees, and I can't even get to the ballpark because we keep, for some reason, like, how does a cat in Boston keep circling Fenway Park? You should know he did. That's a landmark. We know where it's at. So I get there, and I'm on the field, and I'm nervous as hell. Like, just everything was just so amplified, and that's what I think is so great about the players for PG now. Over the years, people that Nelly knows and that we know, and the young guys, these guys come up ready. They come up like, on point. They're ready. Whatever we're doing, whatever we know, our platform that we produce gets our boys ready. When I came up, my back leg was shaking in the batter's box so bad I couldn't even keep it still. These guys are coming up back and performing. So our formula for what we're doing at PG is getting dudes on point and ready to play at the highest level, and they're doing it. But yeah, man, I thought I wasn't going to make it. I was going to crash in a prop plane, couldn't get to the stadium, in the cab. And then, I'm shaking in my boots playing the Yankees. But what a great feeling.
Well, I'm glad you said that, Mo, because one of the guys who is everybody kind of unanimously agrees is ready to come up, even though he won't be with the opening day roster. He probably won't be far behind. Now, let's start with Connor Griffin. Huge name in the PG world. Now a huge name in the major league world. He's that guy. Everybody's waiting for him to come up. For people who've just heard the name but don't know the game, what can they expect from this kid when he gets up to the major league level?
I mean, the kid has been dominating the game since he was 13 years old in perfect game. I mean, he's been on the Select Fest all 4 times. He was an All-American. He's broken many records with us. I mean, the first thing you're going to expect is the kid's going to compete when he bats. He might hit a home run. Don't be shocked if he goes first at bat with a double. He might steal 2 bags that game. And his defense is incredible. It's one of the big frame kids that's truly athletic. Truly athletic, can move left and right well. Again, the guy's going to go up there and he's going to probably hit a double and steal a bag. So I wouldn't be surprised.
That's what
I
I
mean,
thought about when
yeah.
when I thought about him. I'm like, this guy's 6'4", 200 pounds.
Yeah.
And he's a serious athlete. And I just heard him on the MLB network. I was into the radio talking about how, he was working on his jumps at shortstop, trying to, perfect, his pre-step and different things. He's on top of it. This dude's going to be ready. And we all know, like, the business of why he's not starting with the team, it's all because of time of service. Like, he played well enough to be a starter.
Yeah.
They didn't want to call him up because they don't want to have to pay him too early. And these are the business things that, we talk about it all the time, If I had really understood what ownership was trying to do, I probably would have been a better player and a better teammate for the organization. But he's ready to play now. But they're just trying to keep this kid, because I don't think the Pirates haven't shown any history of signing their players or keeping their players. So they keep him down for a couple months, gets him up, and it extends out his time of service where they have control.
Yeah, it's 100%. If he had a longer contract, he'd be up here for opening day. He's ready, but they're gonna make sure that clock doesn't start so they get an extra year on him. Nelly, another big name from our ecosystem here, Max Clark, who a lot of people say was the first kind of the prototype for what PG can do from a social media and like eyeballs viewpoint on him. But dude, Max is a dude though. I mean, it's not just all social media. This kid can play.
No. This kid can play. I mean, it was one of the kids I was privileged to coach as well. I mean, the kid plays the game fast. He steals bags. He's a fundamental kid. They talk about his flair, his this and that. It's the game. It is what it is. The kid can play. The kid's going to go up there. He's going to compete in AAA. And don't be surprised. You give him in 3 months, he's going to be back in the bigs with everybody, hitting a couple doubles and stealing a bunch of bags. I mean, we're talking about a kid that could probably get 60 bags to 50 bags a season. Let's go.
Mo is a 5-tool guy, man. 5-tool guy. He's exciting.
He's got that. And
yeah.
Listen, we gotta.
And by the way, let's not sleep on the arm.
Mm-hmm. We gotta
He's
stop.
97 on the bump.
There you go. There you go. Listen, these guys now they're training. Forget the flair. Didn't we all like the WBC? I mean, you guys liked it, right?
Yep.
Nelly, you was on top of the WBC, right? Venezuela partying, DR partying, Italy partying, Puerto Rico partying. Yo, flair is flair. That's what it's gonna be. We need to stop worrying about all that. Accept that for what it is. This dude's got the skills. Forget the flair. He gonna go out there and do it, and we're all pulling for him.
Yeah, let's go to. We got 2 more guys here. Let's go to Colt Emerson. Another name we know very well in the perfect game universe. Colt is, another one of the guys that everybody's got their eyeballs on. If he's going to get called up, they're talking about him as maybe a June call up again. He's with the Mariners. What do you know about Colt?
I mean, another super, super athletic kid, very early on recognized, super PG guy. I mean, he played in every big event for us over here. He dominated in this space and in where he's at right now. And I mean, there's no way, again, if it wasn't for the business of baseball, he should be a big leaguer right now. If it wasn't for the business side of things.
As long as our PG guys understand that and we're talking and educating them about the entire process, they'll be prepared and they'll understand what it is, and they're commodities. Their name, they are the business. You know what I mean? People go, "Oh, you're doing business." No, their name is the business. As long as they realize that, they're going to be fine.
100%.
Well, from a business standpoint, you don't always get the positive end of it, right? You always get the positive end of it. You get the Chris Sanchez, who just got his contract basically torn up and redone because he was making too little money. I mean, that almost never happens, right? So you learn it hard the first time up, right? Where, hey, you're a commodity. We're going to keep you up because we want your service years to be longer. We're going to maintain control of you, but you got to know on the other end, you got to look out for yourself too. And I know a lot of fans don't want to hear that in the baseball, but it's true because contracts like Sanchez or like what they did with Altuve back in the day in Houston, those don't happen very often.
No, you
100%.
got to understand where you got to understand where you are. You got to understand what you are. You got to understand what your value is, and get it. I think our guys, our MLB bot guys play 162 games. We start 6 months before that, where you go to win the championship. You're basically going to be out there for 9 months grinding. It's worth it, and everybody's got to understand that there's enough money being made out there to pay these guys, and these guys deserve it. They work hard. It's a hard game made for only mentally tough people, and people should be rewarded for it if they can do it.
I agree.
All right, Nelly, one more guy before we let you go here. Tell me about Tink Hence, a guy in the Cardinal system. I know you're very familiar with him too, but maybe not a name everybody out there, the average fan, knows about.
No, Tink Hence, man, a big sleeper also in PG, played in every big event, was a shortstop and a pitcher, played for the Arkansas boys from Arkansas. The kid is up to 99 in AAA right now, dominated. I mean, 5-pitch mix, sinker, slider, curveball with the splitter. I mean, the kid's special. He had 17 Ks when he was in AA. The kid just gonna dominate every space. He went in the bigs. He dominated. I think he had about 10 Ks altogether with all the innings. He pitched 1 innings each time. So now they got him moving a little bit. But he's another guy you're gonna watch out for. They're gonna bring him up quick. Cardinals need arms, and he's a big arm for them.
So
the NL Central's wide open, Mo. I mean, they're going to need they need arms there because I have a feeling that's going to be a race all year long. I don't think there's anybody who you could look at in the NL Central and be like, they're running away with it.
No, there's no standouts. Cubs are making some. Cubs got some players and Armstrong Crow. They brought in Bergman, but yeah, that AL Central is going to be wide open. And why not now? Give the guys the opportunities. This guy's got, like FTP said, a 5-pitch mix, throwing it 95 to 98. Get that guy out there. The one thing people don't understand is the minor leagues really doesn't get you ready for the big leagues. Why? Because that's why you're in the minor leagues. Because you can't do some of the things that the big leaguers can do. So when you have a talent like that, get them out there and get them on the forefront, let them learn and understand the game, and give them opportunities.
Nelly, any other honorable mentions you want to throw out there? Or, and we don't want to hold you up too much longer here. We got you sitting in the car with us today.
You're looking good, though.
Tamar Johnson, watch out for Tamar. Appreciate you, boss. Watch out for Tamar Johnson. Watch out for the young guys, the Palacio brothers. All those guys are going to be doing well. Listen, the best thing about this game right now, the younger guys are coming up quicker, and the talent is only getting better. So baseball's becoming fun again after the WBC this last time. I mean, I haven't seen that many fans tune in and all these countries tune in a long time. This is baseball's peak time. We're back in the 90s, boys. We need to bring this back up, and I'm excited for this season.
Amen.
I'm with you, boy.
Amen. Couldn't have said it any better. Nelly, appreciate you jumping on, man.
Yo, bro, call me up when
appreciate
you need
you, boys, man.
Right?
Wait, before you go, Nelly, All
right, brother. Anything you need. Yes, sir.
Before you go, we do have to talk about Nelly's dropping a new series here, Mo, called Uncommitted, where, we at PG, we obviously follow the top level guys. We do a great job at that, but Nelly had a great idea of kind of following some of these guys who are maybe coming off an injury, maybe a little undersized, maybe just not covered as much, and following their path. Nelly, give them a little bit of a snippet on what people can expect. The first episode comes out this Saturday, right?
Yeah, first episode drops this Saturday. Listen, I just want to show the limelight of the other side, man. There's kids in pro ball like Jacob Young and all these other guys Vaughn Grishams that haven't been blown up, that had to take the long route to make it to the bigs. I want those guys to get the same love. This is for the kids, not for Coach Nelly, not Mo, not for anybody, not PG itself. We want these kids to all make it and show that it doesn't matter. If you're a senior, and you're not committed, you can still get committed by the end of your high school season. And I'm showing that now with this series. Tune in.
I think that's awesome, man. I think that's awesome. Um, Sometimes you need to shed light on that. It just involves more people. We know the big names are going to get what they get, but if we amplify those other guys, it just brings more to the table for us.
Yep.
You know, I
Well,
love underdogs,
relatable
man.
stories.
There's always two sides of the worlds in the story, man. The underdog story is the best one in my opinion. You know, we expect the golden child to do what he does, but I want the guy that took the long route and becoming a Hall of Famer.
I'm with you, bro.
Love that. This Saturday, Perfect Game YouTube channel. Make sure you check it out. Also follow him at FTB Nelly on all socials, and all the promos will be there, and also on Perfect Game. Nelly, appreciate you jumping on, brother.
Later, bro. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Anything you need, hit me.
There he is, Coach Nelly. Mo, gotta love it. The best. That's my favorite. First of all, Nelly. He knows every single guy who's come up through PG in the last 7 years. And when I don't say no, I mean he daps them up. They text him. They're calling him after minor league games. They're calling him after game. Jazz Chisholm, when he started having his blow up, I'm sitting with Nelly and Jazz is calling him, talking about at bats after games. That's crazy to be that connected in with those young guys, but it's cool because it is a whole different generation. Nelly kind of is that same type of person. You know what I mean?
He's the guy. He's the guy. He's worked his butt off to make those connections. He's trusted, which is the most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And he's great for the industry. Knowing those young guys and getting them out there, finding out what they like, what they do, how they are, how they work, how they feel. That's just all good stuff for what we're trying to do.
All right, let's go through some MLB storylines starting off the year. Overall, the one thing that struck me, Mo, is I was going through all the previews of different teams and previews, World Series previews of Cy Young. It looks like everybody's predicting chalk this year. Everybody's talking Dodgers, Blue Jays rematch. They're talking Skeens, Skubal, Cy Youngs. They're talking Ohtani, Judge, MVP. So what I want to do is I want to throw these out to you, and we're not allowed to do chalk today. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with a World Series prediction, Mo. And I'm not asking you to predict the exact teams. What I'm going to say is if it's the Dodgers and the Blue Jays, and only one of them is going to make it back to the World Series, which one do you think it is? And then what team has the best chance to replace the other one that isn't going to make it there?
First of all, I think the Dodgers are going to make it. Okay? I don't think that Toronto is going to make it. I think Bo Bichette is a huge loss to Toronto. And what I mean by that is just, on the field, guys are on the field, but I just think he has that mentality that you need to be a champion. You always need two guys to go out and be successful. And I thought that they had that with Bo and Junior. So I just think that they're gonna suffer the biggest loss, and they're gonna really miss him. And I don't think they're gonna get that. That's just my opinion on that. In terms of who I think is gonna be in the World Series to replace the Angels on the American League side, I mean, I'm not sure there's a team coming out of the AL East. I'm not sure there's a squad. What are we thinking about the Central? What are you thinking about the Central?
I mean, Detroit is interesting because they went out and they made a lot of moves to take this thing. And last year was look, I'm a Guardians fan, but last year was a fluke, right? You can't lose a 15.5 game. That's insane. Not with the talent they had, the disparity between them and Cleveland. There really isn't anybody else. Detroit should be able to stock up on wins. If they're healthy with Verlander as their 4 or 5 or the 5 in the rotation, I think they got a damn good shot at it.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say Detroit. A lot of times you have to. They always talk about, like in the NBA, to get to the finals or what, you got to take your lumps. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't walk into the finals. It's hard. And I think Detroit's that team that took their lumps last year. But I think they got a guy. They made some additions that AJ Inch as the manager, I think, is a great tactical manager that knows his team, knows how to put the guys in the right spots. And with the additions, I think they're going to replace the Dodgers. They're going to replace Toronto as represent the AL, in the most.
Now in the AL East, how do you think that shakes out? Because the Yankees, I mean, man, some of them they don't really have a ton of arms. The Red Sox are young. Obviously, you love what Roman Anthony did in the WBC. The Orioles are sneaky to me, man. The Orioles made some nice additions this offseason too.
Listen, I think the Orioles have guys that need to come back and play well. Their catcher, had a not the year that he wanted to have. I think Gunnar Henderson is a great player, and I think they have the ability to catch fire and lead on some of the things they did in the past couple of years. You're right. It's going to be tough for the Yanks. With the arms, Red Sox guys are very young. We already know what the Blue Jays are. So the Orioles may, someone's got to step forward and win that division. They may just be the team to beat that.
All right, next up, Cy Young, Paul Skeens, Tarek Skubal. And Skubal, the storyline here is he even going to be on Detroit throughout the entire year? If they start slow, remember this is last year before he hits free agency, they pretty much made it known that he's probably going to end up somewhere else. Do they end up trading him at the deadline? Do you think he plays there all year? And if one of those two isn't going to win a Cy Young, which one do you think it's going to be?
Oh, man. This. First of all, do I think he's going to be there throughout the whole season? I say yes. I think he, first of all, is going to keep them in it. He's going to stop. Great pitching always stops those long losing streaks. You know what I mean? He's going to step up, once every 4 or 5 days and stop the losing. I think that's what you need from a number one guy, the number one pitcher in the game. He's going to stop that losing streak and get you back on the track. I just think that AJ knows how to handle his team to be successful. Listen, there's a lot of arms, in the American League. There's a lot of young guys. There's some arms. What do you think in terms of the arms?
Dude, I mean, I think Crochet's right there. I think DeGrom's right there. I think, let's say the Detroit does end up trading Skubal for whatever reason. Framber Valdez, who just got signed over there, I think him in that ballpark, he's going to be lights out there. I think he's a guy who could push for a Cy Young if they're, maybe they're scuffling a little bit to start the year and then they take off in the second half. Dude, the AL is loaded with arms. I mean, absolutely loaded with arms. And, I don't, it's hard for me to imagine a scenario where Skubal doesn't win the Cy Young. But it might be because he's just not on Detroit anymore. Maybe he's over in the NL at the end of the year.
Well, listen, man, I love DeGrom's makeup. I know he's good. He tried to come back. He be that guy. But is it second year off the injury? Using that second year, they're pretty strong. Garrett says there's some good pitching, but you're right. I'm gonna go with DeGrom.
Okay.
Out of all of them, thinking that he's gonna really turn the corner, and get back to. I'm gonna go with DeGrom.
All right. How about the MVP side? Obviously, Ohtani and Judge are far and away the favorites, and if they're healthy, man, it's hard to imagine a scenario where both those guys don't win MVP again, right? But you do in the AL. You got guys like Vladimir Guerrero Jr., you got Cal Raleigh. Hell, you even got Bobby Witt Jr. If the Royals are playing well this year and they're making a run at the Central, he could be in it. And then over on the National League side, you got Soto, who's now with the Mets. You got Acuna, who's supposedly healthy. Obviously, there's always Tatis Jr. if he's back to full strength. Schwarber. I mean, what do you think? If you're going to say one of those two guys isn't win the MVP, which one is it going to be?
Actually,
it's probably health, right? If one of them doesn't win, it's going to be health. Yeah.
The National League, I'm thinking. So, I'm hearing that he's gonna have a guy sitting behind him, with Boat. He's gonna get some pitches that he's gonna really drive the ball. I think he's just going to turn around. Listen, when you go for that whole don't underestimate that whole issue coming from the Yankee Stadium, not only also there to Queens and the little things that might be said and the fans. I think now Juan Soto's going to clear his mind. He's got Bo sitting behind him. And he's going to go. He's going to. And listen, he was still great last year. I don't know what people are talking, but I think he's going to really take off. He's that type of guy. I think he's going to take off and have that great.
And yeah, I mean, he was a menace in the playoffs against my Guardians. I could tell you that much.
Listen, that's what you're paying that money for. Is he's not afraid of a big moment. I just think that he's going. I think the second year in, he's going to be a guy that steps up in the national. And I also think that, and I'm going to go, if I'm going with the Orioles to win the East, which I think is going to be a tough division, I'm going with Gunnar Harrison this year. I think that it's USA play in that environment has got him a little bit. He's elevated his brain, his mind that he can come through on that big stage, and I think he's going to take that to the Orioles for the senior year and have a great year. If they're going to win the AL East, I think he's going to be.
Dude, that would be massive. He's got the makeup for it, man. He's that guy. He's got the mentality. He's got the poise. I can see it. I can totally see it. All right, this is the last one I'm going to throw at you, and this is an interesting one because I saw the stat and it blew my mind, Mo. Do you know the last time a manager got a job in MLB with no managerial experience, just jumping straight from college to the pros, was 1907. And this year we have another one, and it's Tony Vitello, who's jumping up from Tennessee, which is obviously an amazing collegiate program. He's jumping up, and he's now going to be managing the San Francisco Giants. And you know how sports are. Pro sports are a copycat thing, and everybody in the league is watching this because if it works, you know what's going to happen next. They're going to go start pilfering the NCAA ranks and pulling guys up left and right. So, A, how do you think he's going to do? And B, what do you think that transition is going to be like for him? Because it's a completely different ball game, a whole lot more games to play, a whole lot more personalities, money, the whole 9 yards.
I think this is coaching staff. I see Ronald Washington over there. That stabilizes your infield. Guys like that stabilize what you're doing. That don't make you have to get extra outs. Make the routine play back. That right there helps your defense. Right? You're gonna get guys that can play defense and pick up the ball, and they're gonna work on it there again. If guys throw strikes, you're gonna have an opportunity to. Rafael Devers is a great player. He's going to feel that energy. I'm sure Tony's gone over there and talked to him and probably feels that energy and is want to go out and have a full season there and prove it. We already know he can win a World Series. And they have a great third baseman. I think all he has to do is communicate. Listen, it's a different world. NCAA, SEC to MLB, but also baseball is the same game. You know in the butt, you know where to hit and run. You know the game tells you what to do. If you could get a lineup that gets on base and puts that Rafael Devers in position to drive and runs, a guy that's already played the game and knows how to do that, and that may be your MVP too. Thinking about it also on that side. If he could get that going, great communication with his veteran players. Go out, talk to the guys, let them know how you feel, let them know what you're trying to do. They got to be in your court. It's a game of communication and talking. If he can do that, he has just his chances of being successful as anybody else.
And Mo, how do we start this episode? We started by talking to Nelly about all these young guys coming up, right? And what did he talk about? All the young talent right behind them. And look at the major league level. I mean, teams are getting younger and younger. Guys are getting drafted. They're up within a year and a half now. Some guys are up within a year. I mean, if this could be the wave of the future, is bringing up the guys who are relating to those younger players because, I love Tito and I love some of the older guys who are managing, and they do a good job. But, these kids start talking. They don't know what the hell they're talking about these days. They got all the brain rot language and all that stuff. These are still kids.
Yeah, you got it. That's what's so great about Dustin Baker, man. And I think Tito's on top of it too. And I think that's why these, our veteran managers are still veteran managers, because they're doing something that's attracting and keeping them in the game with the young guys. Who now, when I was coming up, it was 24-man roster. It was 22 veterans and 2 young guys. Now it's the reverse. So they're running the show. So you got to figure out how to work that. But I think those guys that are still in the game that are veterans, they're doing that. And they got to keep doing that. They know how to adapt. But yeah, our game is getting younger, flashier, flairer. Got to get guys that can communicate and get the best out of people. But I think, listen, running Tennessee over there with, what Tony was doing, that ain't no easy job either. There's a lot of expectation, a lot of different things that you're monitoring, and all different types of different platforms that you have to work on. At least now, you don't have to worry about school. You don't have to worry about people going to class. You don't have to worry about study hall. It's all baseball. So if you can just get the right mix, you never know what happens.
Yeah, and the last couple of years in college baseball, there's been a bunch of money in it too. So it's not like the money's foreign to them anymore. There's guys who are high paid on this college team. They're just a lot more high paid now when they get to the major league level. That's all.
Hey, you know what? I wasn't even thinking about that. That is a great assessment right there. They're already doing it. Like, It's just a little bit more money, but they're already managing mindset. So maybe that's what these MLB owners and GMs are thinking, that now with this NIL, it may be really not much difference to what they're doing right now with MLB.
Mo, I got to shout you out real quick. I appreciate you. You took my son in. He was coming down here to Cocoa Beach for his spring training, starting out down here. You took him in for a couple hitting lessons at the Vaughn Sports Academy. By the way, gorgeous facility down there, man. I would work out in that gym 7 days a week. I felt like I was on an NFL. I felt like I was on an NFL team working out in there. I'm telling you,
man, it's great. Will Jr., I don't know if he's a junior, but good leg. You got a good, young, respectful son. He's gonna make himself into, whatever he wants to be, whatever job he chooses. But I had a great 2 days with him, working, just talking little things, just trying to be positive and give people positive action. But it was great to work with him. You can come by any time, and you're welcome any time.
Nah, I appreciate you, Mo. It was gracious of you to open the doors for my son and me. And I'll be down there. We'll be doing this thing in person here soon. I'm telling you, I'm driving back and forth across the state of Florida. I'm doing this episode from a Starbucks. Travel baseball. Hey, we might be doing a podcast, Mo, but we're still travel baseball, Dad. That's all I know.
You sure right. Well, be safe, bro. I'm here for you. Need something, come over here.